Hello guys, my name is Artem. I'm General Manager of Mobicals, the agency that specializes on Magento support, and this is Ryan, IT Executive of Vapor Source and founder of Pueblo Tech. And we would like to tell you the story of the vaping brand Vapor Source. That's a brand that went and evolved from one-man show in a trading post to a successful and dominant player on the state level in the vaping industry, and scaled to 9 offline stores, and has a strategic plan to scale to 10 more offline stores in the next 2 years. And the reason I would like to tell that story is that it's kind of not conventional story to me personally. It has like full of surprises and insights, because my background is in marketing, specifically in digital marketing, and I believe that like any online store can beat like dozens of offline stores, you know. And whenever you start your business, you just have to think about the online sales and you'll get covered. But this was apparently not the case with Vapor Source, what surprised me a lot. So I asked Ryan to share the story, and he actually started with the phrase that, you know, a lot of Magento developers can consider as a credo: enjoy the challenge or don't even start, right? So Ryan, tell us please, what was the beginning of the brand? How did you decided to stick to the founder decided to stick to the vaping industry, and how did it start?
Yeah, sure. Vapor Source started by founder Jason Casados in Pueblo, Colorado, in a small trading post. He basically had the vision that the products, since they were working well, that they would be a viable alternative for people to quit smoking. We know within a few months after trying that with family and friends, they ended up working, and he knew that since they were kind of you know, a nicotine-based product, that there would be kind of like a subscription involved with that. So in the infancy, the products were so-so, but people were still gaining interest and they were viable. So he, within a few months, moved into his first retail suite.
Yeah, and I remember that he was sharing that one thing that he was appealing to is that it was kind of a subscription-based model, because, you know, people are getting addicted to that habit of smoking, like, you know, even without nicotine, and it was kind of subscription-based business, so he liked that. And one more thing to mention is that at the early beginning of the company, the founder decided to keep his team tight and small. And if you look now to the business, is that the core 5 people of the business are still there, the people who managed and scaled to 9 offline stores. And this wouldn't be possible without the proper tools. So when you had to open, when you decided to stick to the industry and kind of go all in with vaping, you had to open the second offline store. And this is when you had to choose what tools you will provide to your team, you know, to do that, to scale the business. So what were the tools, the internal tool and the online sales tool?
Well, for any startup, I think one of the biggest concerns is probably cost. So we went with the popular software provider, QuickBooks point of sale by Intuit, and that basically gave the warehouse manager the ability to do purchasing, keep track of taxes, you know, everything that a point of sale kind of does under one roof, returns and exchanges, and the benefit of it mostly was the startup cost.
Okay, and for the online sales, what was your choice?
Well, we went with the popular shopping cart ZenCart, which at that time, we all know, you know, I had some experience in PHP Nuke and some things like that, working on different platforms at the time. And I'm just an IT guy, so I was, you know, dangerous enough to be able to modify things and make them work. And it worked okay, really primitive, but it worked for the time.
Okay, so when you have selected those tools, there was like the time for your first attempt to bring the online sales. What was your plan? What did you do? And what was the, like, did you get any traffic or online sales?
Well, considering that this product was in its infancy, I kind of practiced some gray hat AdWords campaigns. and considering that those products were kind of so new, the content moderators at Google didn't really know what they were. So I was able to sneak, you know, play with the keywords and sneak a few through until they caught on, and then finally banned me. So that, you know, and then I would use like OLARC, or I think it was OLARC. I think they were around back then, but I used that extension and sat at my computer and just sat there waiting for traffic to come in. I was just happy to see people, you know, come in, you know, ding, and then, oh yeah, I'm getting traffic, you know, but it really didn't equate to much in the end. There really wasn't any sales, but I was getting some traffic.
Yeah, but then why were they not buying? I mean, you got the traffic, but they're not buying.
Well, I think at that time, electronic cigarettes were kind of new to the market and people weren't really kind of familiarized with them. So I think what basically happened was they would go into the site, they kind of see that, and they kind of see it as a kind of gimmicky. They didn't really know what to expect. And the flavoring, you know, it's pretty hard to try like a strawberry apple banana over a web browser. So it sounds disgusting, right? But then that turned out to be the opposite.
Right, but then you've got a traffic and no sales online. What did you do with traffic? I mean,
well, you know, I first started that with the envision, if you build it, they will come. But that really didn't turn out to be the case. So I just kept plugging away and started adding more content, better pictures, you know, locations and hours to the pages, and just tried to gain interest through education and educating the customers so that they could kind of see that it was a viable business and that the products actually did work.
okay, so what was the result, I mean, in terms of money, online, offline? Well, just what about the sales? Did you get any results?
Well, I mean, after that, at that point, people would come in and they would constantly say, you know, hey, I seen this online, and in turn, that doubled the sales.
Okay, so basically this was the first attempt and first my surprise and upside down thing that you've tried to bring online sales and it didn't work, but brought offline sales. And then when you came to us, you already had Magento. So could you please tell us about your second attempt? Thanks. About your second attempt, how did you like decide to go with Magento? What was your plan, and what did you get as a result?
On the first, basically, the company came to me and was like, you know, hey, we need configurable products. So I went on Google and I started searching YouTube, looking for, you know, like the best software solution provider, and I think I seen a tutorial there about configurable products. And the problem with ZenCart was that at that time the attributes were just drop-down boxes. You couldn't really attach SKUs to them, so we went ahead and went with the popular platform Magento.
Okay, but then what did you do to bring traffic, online sales, and did you get any sales?
Well, the thing about it is that they already had some themes that were out that were semi-mobile compatible at that time.
Yeah, but then it was cool.
Yeah, so I mean, it just kind of helped our image and gave us the flexibility to make it, you know, beautified in a sense.
So, but did you get any sales online?
We had a few sales online, but where it really kind of translated was into offline.
Okay. And I remember that back then it was the time when we have been introduced to the company, and the first job that we've done for the Vapor Source was the age verification system. This is the system that automatically verifies every customer that was registered or purchased the product, what was their age and whether it was legit for buying, like legit smoking age or not, and with the AI behind that. And the problem was that the industry was very regulated, and I remember that not only industry was disappointed with that, but you were saying that even customers were like pissed off.
Yeah, they were, and you know, we had known that the products had worked for our customers. We'd constantly have, you know, people from all age groups coming in and telling us how those products had really helped them. We believed in our products, we believed in our customers, and we wanted to find a way to give back. So we started the Colorado Smoke-Free Association, and that association basically in turn helped build brand value to us and helped our customers basically perceive us as, you know, somebody who's interested in their interests. So that's basically how Colorado Smoke-Free Association began, and that in turn, in a sense, basically committed the customer to us, took some of our local competitors' business, and it gave us a loyalty incentive for our customers to where they didn't really want to shop anywhere else.
Great. So, and in terms of sales, if you could tell us, if you get offline, online sales, what's the takeaway after that? What were the results?
Well, the sales definitely increased, and like I said, by default, taking business away from some of our competitors, it really, really increased the sales.
Okay. So for me, those were like 2 attempts to go and bring sales online that didn't work, but actually, brought offline sales, and it was really like, turned upside down. And I remember that back then, working with Ryan, he had a really mind switch, but mind switch doesn't work. Mind switch that he started thinking not only online and like bring me online sales, but he started thinking about how can I combine offline and online tools to bring more sales to the company in general. And the first surprise after that for me was when we've done the BOGO extension for you. Well, there were no BOGO extension in Magento. There were some extensions, but not that, they didn't provide all the flexibility that the guys needed. But what was the most interesting part is not technical, but that after the BOGO is buy one, get one free, right? And when you get something for free, like how do you get more sales? I mean, I was not understanding that. But apparently after that promo, the average order went from 3 pieces of juice to 5.5, right? And the most important is that when promo ended, people were still referencing it and getting more sales. And I was wondering why it worked, like why BOGO worked.
BOGO worked basically, think about if you want to try a flavor, right? So there's 2 flavors, you get one free. You have the flexibility to try the third one without the repercussions of spending extra money on it. So people could basically sample it. It was also effective because of the fact that people would go online constantly and kind of get an idea of what to expect when they get in the store. And I think that's what a savvy online consumer, or today's consumers, are doing in general, is going onto your website, checking pricing, things like that, and then they would go into the store and then make their final purchase. So being able to mimic the sales that we were doing in store online with our banners, things like that, really, really, really helped.
Oh, that's great. So, and then you have started looking more into the team, and I remember the team started, complaining about QuickBooks. Could you please elaborate what was the issue? Like, QuickBooks was perfect system for you at the beginning, but then what was wrong?
Yeah, up until about 5 stores, it seemed to work okay. When the database was probably under 500 megabytes, it was just fine. But you would start getting these kind of quirky issues, database collision issues. Like what we would do is we would have rewards cards printed off for us. This is just one small error, and I could probably go on for like an hour about the problems that we've been facing for the last several years. But basically, so we get rewards cards sent to us. They get barcodes, they get numbers. Well, sometimes those would give you like a misprint, and they would print duplicate numbers. And the way that the software works and the way that the database is combined is that they're sent in mailbag exchanges. And those mailbag exchanges, really, it's not a live database, right? So we would get duplicates. One store would get a card, then 2 months later, somebody else would get a card. And when they go to merge that data together, the QuickBooks system basically totally locks up. There's nothing that you can do, and you're basically at a halt with being able to send and receive information from one store.
But how do you do these conflicts? How do you resolve them?
Well, the solution from QuickBooks and Intuit was basically send us all of your company files, and then we'll go ahead and sift through the database ourselves. And the problem with us being able to fix that on our own is that QuickBooks used an internal identifier that wasn't able to be searched for natively inside of the point of sale system. So in order to fix that and those collisions and see what's actually conflicting, we have to send all of the files out, and it takes them 3 days. And you can imagine, if this is a Thursday, you know, we have to send the files out, and they don't work Saturday and Sunday. So you're down. What they tell us is, oh, just have everybody write everything down, your sales, you know, from that time, and then when the system's back up, go ahead and, you know, re-put them back in. Data
You mean
entry.
write on paper?
Yeah, write your sales on paper, and hope that, you know, everything in the end is adding up, and so that created a lot of inconsistencies.
That's crazy. So this time we have already been introduced to the company, and I remember that we were helping Ryan to find the, you know, other solutions, and he was not satisfied with any on the market, mostly because of the cost, and it's either subscription or revenue share. And then one day I had this deep discussion with the main Magento architect, Igor Minyailo, and Magento 2.2 released, and there was the MCI, the business intelligence, the reports, the PWA with the GraphQL, and well, nothing was working, you know, out of the box right away like we needed, but it was clear that Magento was ready for something bigger than just online sales. And then we were discussing that and decided, why not try in Magento to make a center of all the operations? Because, well, based on other projects, we will certainly be able to, you know, handle all the orders and transactions that will, even if we double all these offline stores. So we thought about commerce and open source, went to the open source first, decided to look for the extensions that will form our code base and future solutions. First, we went to the providers, like high-profile providers like MST. You know, they had that MCI extension that they built, knowing that Magento is building their MCI. So when Magento would upgrade, then they will work too. I mean, it will work too. But the problem was that combining all the different extensions from, you know, different vendors would give us a problem supporting them in future, updating them. So we decided to go with one vendor, less extensions, and, you know, just you know, customize them and work with that. And during that period, we started migrating the database from QuickBooks and to Magento. And this was a problem. Well, 9 years of data was sitting there, you know, and the workflow was changing. It was 1 million orders, and the problem is that whenever we started looking into the data, it was clear that we need to change the data, the way the data flows in, flows out. And Ryan actually helped us a lot gathering the requirements, and the guys had to rethink the filtering, the categorization, the naming, all that. I mean, we had to combine the ERP, CRM, reporting, business intelligence, even point of sale system for offline stores into Magento. This is what we were doing. But long story short, we are ready with the code. We have a proof of concept. We have migrated the data. We have the script that will daily update the data from QuickBooks to Magento, because we'll have run while we proof concept in parallel QuickBooks with Magento. And at the end of this month, we launch Magento 2, right? And late October, the first offline store in Pueblo will go working just on Magento with ERP, CRM, and even point of sale system. This is great, but could you please tell us a little bit, like the latest, why it was important for the team to combine all those things into one system? What are the benefits for the team, for the market?
Yeah, sure. We had invested in some connectors before with QuickBooks, and they didn't really play nicely with orders importing and things like that. So I just basically given up. As an IT guy, like he was saying, we like to keep our team small, a team of 5, so that we can kind of manage things better. But after like 1.9, and after Artem's agency took over, you know, the project, it kind of proved to me that, you know, Magento was kind of the pathway forward with its reliability and like 99% uptime. It really kind of convinced me that maybe this is actually the way we need to go. And it's centrally located. One of the biggest benefits is that licensing cost. If I'm going to spend, you know, whatever it is, $30,000 on licensing for a desktop-based software that's kind of a one-size-fit-all, why not just go over and spend that kind of money on developing our own customized solution? And, you know, it's a system that is able to kind of grow with us. It really can make a small team kind of more powerful and more robust. And that gives us all the sales tools, the promotional tools, and the things that we need to keep our team tight. So from accounting all the way down to marketing to purchasing managers, you know, and then it just alleviates duplicate data entry. We don't have to use any connectors, and it's just really, really the simplicity of it.
Okay, thanks. So guys, that's kind of it. If you would like to keep up with our experiment, we'll ask the hosters to send an email and just reply yes, and we will send monthly updates like what extensions we use, what problems we've got, how did we resolve them. And that's it. We're ready.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Are there any questions? We have a little time. Don't be too shy.
Yeah, please. So did you use Magento for your accounting system?
Yes.
So it actually became your ERP.
Yes.
Interesting, because
We
we do exactly what you did. We have Webgility that brings it into QuickBooks, and actually works pretty seamless
Don't
for
mention
us.
Webgility. The problem is 9 years of data, and
Right.
when I asked Ryan if he would like to mention that thing, it didn't work well with Webgility because it's okay. Yeah, it just didn't work with Webgility because there were a lot of conflicts and they were not able
Right.
to.
Well, last year we cleaned out our 9 years worth of data
Yes,
and
yes, that's
opened
what
up
we
a new
had.
QuickBooks. Because there were so many bugs and issues after. You got to do that every so often. But now we're in the midst of maybe thinking about an ERP, and it's a very interesting. Now, are you on commerce with that, or you did it open source?
There are still proof of concept and we're still on commercial.
Can't hear you. Open source?
Open source. Open source.
Right. Does commerce offer that?
Sorry?
Does commerce offer that?
It's not about if it offers that. It's the question of what it offers, what you can build on top of that. And when we were starting, it was 2.2, and as I said, you know, the things were not working well at the beginning. So like paying for, you know, we still have to customize them, and still proof of concept. Thank you. Nice question.
Any more questions?
How many hours how many hours was it for the project to make it a viable solution?
From the first complaint.
He's laughing.
Yeah, he's laughing, but the thing is that we've spent more time dealing with data and talking than building the thing, because there are plenty of extensions there, you know, and like it has passed 3 years since the first complaint to QuickBooks. But then, you know, managing, learning curve, understanding the data, all that stuff, looking for extensions, looking for the other options, not Magento, but other options, and like, no,
So a lot of hours is what you're saying.
But you'd be able to do it in half the time now.
Sorry?
But you'd be able to do it in half the time now.
The problem is that now PWA is more robust, and we will have to make point of sale system offline. Right now we're doing the point of sale system robust because of the Ryan's company is doing the nice job. They have built the 2 lines of the internet and 3G, so we're like securing that, but it should be offline for sure, yeah, and PWA will be able to do this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How many extensions did you use?
Actually, not much. If you take any project like with like 5-6 years old, there will be like 140 extensions, something like that. For that thing, we used like 20, 25. So it's not much. But we customized a lot for sure.
Any more questions? We have a couple minutes still.
The sweets, guys, please take the sweets. I had to explain why do I have 10 kilos of chocolate and then I'm not a solicitor. You know, I don't want to bring them home. Just take them, grab to your family, kids.
Right out there.
Yeah, right up there. When you walk out, just, you know, put it to your bag as much as you can. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Ryan.